So I realized recently that it's been quite a while since I made a video involving me going on some sort of a tangent about something I'm obsessed with. So before the hot air builds up and I explode, I'm gonna make one of those right now. We're gonna rewind really, really far back, super far back, all the way back to 2021. I was sitting at my computer desk and I realized, wow, it's been a long time since I played any new horror games. So I went on Steam and looked at my recommended list, and all the way at the bottom there was this little obscure black and white game called Mundaun. So I went in blind. I didn't even watch the trailer. I just clicked download. It was cheap enough. It took me a couple days to beat, and at the end of it, I was so unbelievably impressed. I decided to backtrack and look up every bit of lore I could possibly find about the content of the game, the creator, everything. I've finally gotten a chance to compile these facts, and I'm going to now present them to you, the viewer, because this game is so criminally underrated, and not enough people have played it or even watched a playthrough on YouTube, nothing. And I think that that is terrible, especially because of how much work and love that's been put into it. So first and foremost, Mundaun was created by a very, very tiny development studio called Hidden Fields. Now you might be thinking, Hidden Fields, I've never heard of that. I wonder how many people are on the team and how long they existed. Well, guess what? Hidden Fields is comprised of one human, one madman that decided to create this game. His name is Michael Ziegler.
So that's 6 years of work?
That's right. He is the writer, artist, and director of Mundaun. So a little backstory on this guy. Michael was born in Lucerne, Switzerland, grew up there for most of his life. He decided to go to college for programming, database management, stuff like that. And then one day he thought, this is all well and good for making money, but I want to do something way more creative. So he started making a comic. Didn't really know what the comic was going to be about. He just grabbed a bunch of sketchbooks and started sketching. Here's a fun fact that I forgot to mention. He hadn't drawn since he was a wee child. So he just sat there and sketched and sketched and sketched and sketched and sketched until he was happy with the style enough to continue making this comic that he wanted to make.
I heard you have to do 1,000 bad drawings so you can get to the good ones.
Then in the midst of creating this comic, he did what programmers do and tried to extend his knowledge in the form of downloading a game creating engine. Messed around with it a little bit and realized, wow, so this isn't going to be a comic anymore. I'm going to make a game.
I switched the project from a comic to a game in the middle of the project. So it was quite stressful after that.
And that is how the idea of Mundaun was born. So in Michael's childhood, there was a little village that he would often go and visit with his father. This village had a little chapel in it, and that was actually the first thing he designed for the game. It was just a chapel with a field around it. The game also was not initially supposed to be a horror game. But as these childhood memories unfolded and he started to sketch more and create more for the game, he realized that a lot of his childhood memories, although happy, also involved a lot of fear and the unknown. Now, this is one of the coolest parts about the design of this game. Michael decided that he wanted the entire game to be sketched in pencil. That's right, the whole game is in pencil. And how do you ask? Well, he would sketch everything flat as if it was opened up and then apply the drawing to a 3D model.
So this is the one we made. You need to move this map in here.
He was quoted saying it was much like putting a foil wrapper onto a chocolate figure.
Here. on the 2D image has a point on the 3D model. You can move these coordinates around here.
Another interesting element that I noticed while I was playing is if there's something like grass, flowers, a house, something like that, when you go around it, it will always turn to face you. So if there's grass growing out of the ground like this and you walk around it, it will always turn to be facing you. The game actually got its name from a really old abandoned hotel in this village. Hotel Mundaun, which actually still exists today. There's a little documentary about the making of this game, and in the documentary, he actually takes us to look at this hotel, and creepily enough, a light turns on.
Oh shit, that's crazy. Hey, but it wasn't there before, was it? Did you see somebody? It feels pretty creepy, just because we only see lights. If I now see a silhouette, I will probably drop dead.
So in the game, they speak a language called Romansh, which is a Romance language, primarily in Switzerland, mostly in the canton of Graubünden. That's something else that was so whimsical to me. It's a language that is not used that much anymore, but he still decided to make this the main language of the game. Okay, so back to the development of Mundaun. Michael began creating the game in 2014, and the entire game took about 6 years to make. Something else I love about Michael is he admitted to stepping far out of the confines of his software training.
My old software teachers, they would kill me if they saw this. This is not conformal at all.
Now, 4 years into development, he was contacted by a game development conference and invited to go. This was super, super lucky. I don't think we even have any idea how lucky, because there are tons and tons and tons of pieces of media sent to this conference all the time. They saw all the ideas that he had put together and what he made so far, and they were like, yes, let's make this. They even matched him up with music and sound developers. But Michael, much like myself, is an artistic control freak, honestly valid, and was like, thanks, I'm gonna work with these guys, but I'm also going to pretty much direct everything that they do anyway.
I kind of love doing just doing everything.
So let's get to why I love this game so much, even before I saw this documentary. I'm not going to elaborate on the actual story itself because I want people who actually play it to be surprised, or also people that decide to watch playthroughs as well. I will say though that I really, really enjoyed how beautiful the Swiss countryside in the game is. The sound and music is beautiful. I definitely recommend also playing it with headphones. I also love how Michael went through the village and surrounding areas, collecting textures and locations, and applied that directly to this game.
Perfect reference. This really nice one with this pattern.
And when you play, you can really feel the care that was put into this to make it feel like a nostalgic thing for him as well. When the game starts to get darker, you will be introduced to some creatures. I won't reveal all of them, but a main focus of the game are definitely these straw man figures that walk in a creepy manner towards you. And if you get too close, they actually will turn you into straw as well. There are also some other really creepy creatures from Swiss folklore, but I'm not going to elaborate too much on them. There are also some really, really eccentric characters that are on your side, but when you first see them, it's very jarring, so you're not sure.
Giao sợi chỉ cuốn thải, biểu phê.
Also, talking goats. You can't beat a talking goat.
Du n'esperaràs in van.
You almost forget that the game is drawn in pencil. I mean, it's not realistic by any means, but it just kind of puts you in this uncanny, strange between being awake and being in a dream place. Although I am not giving away any specifics of the story, I will say that it gets very deep and plays upon nostalgia, regret, hurt, also overcoming those things. Also, what's great is there are numerous endings depending on the decisions that you make throughout the game, which is great. Also, did I mention that you can drive? It's very realistic in showing what it's like to drive this janky hay bale truck throughout definitely not a flat surface. And last but not least, despite all the dread you feel throughout this game, you leave with a sense of accomplishment. And also, you know, I'm not going to project this onto anybody else, but when I beat the game, I definitely came out as someone who was very happy that I experienced that. You know, I had to take some time to fully process it, but man, it's beautiful. It's like reading a novel. So yeah, this guy Michael put in so much work to make this game everything he wanted it to be. When he was done, he said something that I can definitely understand.
I think this last few weeks, or the week when it comes out, I will be probably a wreck. Like, I will be a mental wreck. And after it releases, I'm gonna take a long break, I think.
So yeah, this game is criminally underrated, underplayed, underappreciated. So yeah, if you're looking for a new game to play, get your hands on Mundaun. You can play it on Nintendo Switch, PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and also where I played it, PC. Also, comment below. Let me know if you want me to make more of these, because there are tons of games that I have played that are just freaking awesome that not enough people have, and it's a damn shame.